He said that day by day, it's more difficult to try to teach philosophy. And that's the question I want to ask you. Like, why do you think it's important to keep teaching philosophy even these days that we live in this technological era and stuff?
Yeah. Why is it important to keep teaching philosophy in these days? So asking the question this way means that the current context is not in favor of the teaching of philosophy, and or that philosophy is past knowledge, and that nowadays a new reality is to be followed because it is stronger than us. Of course, that is maybe true because the new reality we are facing today is science and technology, but it's very important to continue teaching philosophy today because it represents the theoretical foundation upon which science takes shape. You know, philosophy must be introduced even in the curriculum of all classes, classes of secondary and technical education. It is not a question of teaching students and technicians the history of philosophy as in general education, but it is a question of teaching them critical reasoning applied to science and technology to make them geniuses. You know, philosophy in this sense will serve to sharpen the critical sense and to develop science and technology. I mean, we don't need to tell the story of philosophy to those students or to technicians, but we just need to include critical thinking within the reflection on new technology. And I believe that this is how geniuses are made. So in this way, it will allow students to understand that even Newton and Einstein were first philosophers before they were scientists. In
Yeah.
fact,
Mhm.
philosophy is an important part of the scientific reflection. That's what I think. That's what I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah,
Mm,
and going back to the experience of your grandfather,
yeah.
it was him, yeah, your grandfather explained it like that. You have to make a question on why this thing is happening right here,
Mm-hmm.
and that question, I mean, it's like the key of philosophy, and the question is like, if it doesn't matter the discipline, yeah. So if the question is the beginning of every, well,
Yeah.
searching process, for
Mm-hmm.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like I like that perspective. See,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just to teach how the great philosophers of yours
Exactly.
or the ancient philosophers thought. Well, it's important, of course, but most important is to teach people the critical thinking that they use.